bird on a tree. I'm just sitting here.
I would like to welcome everyone on board the African show. And it's another day, it's another Saturday. I doubt how many of our African new friends are here. Seems no one. Okay, but no problem. Hello, Duane. Hello, Eva.
Hello, Charles. We are here, young man. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Duane, I have a question that has been nagging me for some time. You were in the corporation, and you were some sort of deviant, and you were teaching people. You've actually taught so many people, and it seems the corporation wasn't satisfied with what you were doing, or something like that. So, what is it that you were doing that you can pass over to us so that we help to build some people too? What is it that you were teaching people prior to your uh, establishment in the Eastness consciousness or whatever? So, just curious to know what transpired in the interval between the corporation and uh, your coming into the new waves. So, what is it that paved the way to this high state you are doing?
Okay, that's kind of a convoluted question, but just like all of us, we all go through something, and everything we go through, we've decided every moment to go through it. That's just very real. And so, we're given opportunities, we make choices. So, what transpired all those years since I first, joined Paul in 1970, and then went from there. Through that, certain things were supposed to take place. Well, they didn't, so I was still sticking around. But at the same time, I was presenting to the public, basically what Paul was referring to, and using the corporation, you might say, as the vehicle for that time as a reference. Okay, because as especially after Darwin, there was that in there too. But especially after Darwin, Joni, things became more and more restricted. They wanted things and policies and guidelines a certain way. Well, I just wasn't listening to that. I had been out there in the public a lot of years, and I knew what I was doing, you might say. I wasn't not saying I'm right, but I was just doing the basics. And, there was clamor, there was little voices in the background from other higher initiates and whatever that, Duane is doing funny things or whatever. It's just that, no, I was just doing what was real and made sense for where I was and presenting it to the public. But, they had a protocol according, these are the rule lovers that, they like to look good with the headquarters, etc. And, you have this corporation idea, this invisibleness that people don't see and they really don't want to see. And that is that, what are the memberships? What does the membership consider about the headquarters or the office, the EC office, or whatever they call it? Okay, it's kind of like things that come out of there. All of a sudden, there's ideas, there's guidelines, whatever. Okay, where does this come from? You see, people don't really want to see it or consider it. It's all like a mystery, like the God thing. It's a mystery. God is there, but you don't know God. So God's a mystery, and that's all that matters. And so, But it really comes from somebody, and it comes from Joni. And so I could see this, but everybody else, they wanted to play the game because they wanted to look at the higher initiates and whatever. And I'd see them on the real side, and they were all just, marching to her tune. But on the outer, they were pretending that, oh no, it's official. This is the new guideline. This is what we're to do. This is how you set up an X center. All these things, and etc. So, and the last center I set up, because I had done several over the years, and I didn't even want to do it. The class that I was teaching in my house wanted to do it. There's a fellow named Bill Reed. He said, I'll pay for the rent, whatever. I said, okay, fine. I said, we'll call it a Hugh Center. Okay, we're not calling it an X Center, because the guidelines had specified that you need 100 members to officially open an X Center. So we called it a Hugh Center. Now I'm just giving you an example here of the silliness that the control comes in and wants to dominate people's minds and make sure that they're in line with what Joni wants. Okay, it's not about, oh gee, what the Ek wants and etc. And it's about what Joni wants. And she uses that idea, just like the so-called presidents use the idea of the United States of America, which is just a corporation. They use the idea to fool people. So we opened up the little Hughes Center. It was a cute little place, one-room place. Bill Reed paid the rent. I said, I ain't paying the rent because it becomes a dead fish after a while. So about after 6 months or so, I think it was Bill Ream was the president of Eckankar, of the Eckankar Satsang in California. Well, him and his entourage came down to the center one night, and I had a talk with them, and there's many people there, and he was trying to read me the rules of what is to be. Well, eventually they took over the center. We just left. I told the class, I said, we'll just leave. Let them have it, whatever. And so this is the idea. It's very subtle, and I couldn't talk to them any which way because it was all about, the rules. That's what it was about. It was all about the rules that Joni had created. But again, see, when you're with something like that and you look at it, nobody knows where that comes from. They think it comes from Harold. They think, oh, this is what the master wants, or this is what God or the Sugmad or whatever wants, etc. Well, these are just crutches, is what they are. People don't really, really see it. It's all cliche. It's all set up. It's all a business, and it's all about you, which is fine. And I was there to learn a lot, but at the same time, I was like the rebel, because I was out, presenting dream courses in colleges and libraries and stuff like that. I was doing a whole lot, plus doing fairs, etc. And I was using Eckankar as the vehicle to get out something at that particular time, because that's what it was. It was like driving an old car. That was the vehicle for that time. And so then the Rod of Power came along in 2001, and then from there to here. So there's a lot of story there, and I've told that many times, etc. But I also needed that background, that backdrop, to see all these things that are not needed. It's very important too. This is what people don't understand for the most part. You need to go through a lot of things that you don't need so you can wake up to see them for what they are. So most of the world is, they like their created phenomena that they look at. You look at the people that are into religion. They are really afraid to see their God. If they saw who it really was, they'd run the other way, you see. But so they'll keep it a mystery. And so I saw how this works with this whole thing, because I was there. And when Darwin was there, I was on the building committee in Sedona, the Wings of the Wind House with Helen Fry, etc. And this is where she took my wife aside and said, I want to come back as your child. Well, that's my daughter, Lindsay. And I taught Lindsay a particular way when she was young. I didn't literalize her, but she didn't want to do this anymore. This is, etc. So she went her own way. Again, it's choice. Every moment we make a choice. We can say, oh, gee, I'm with the is and it's all okay. But that's a crutch. You're making the choice. You decide. Life already is. There's no little cute stories that's going to do anything. You face it, you do it, or you don't. And so what I've decided, and I know it's hard for some people, well, they don't have to do it. I'm doing it. So the next thing is the galactic event, which is going to be very interesting, but it had to be decided. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. People are getting hints of what's going on the real side. This is a bigger picture. And we've contacted some people about it, and a lot of people, they still have their personal ideas, you see. Till you stand 100% real with the is, you're not. Even though you got the idea, till you get that little self out of the way, because it's just a created little thing is all it is. And it's a thrill chaser. That's it. You've chased thrills for lifetimes. Your choice. Here's another opportunity. You want to get past that? Well, you've got to go through the invisible to see it, to recognize it. Yeah, life just got bigger, a whole lot bigger. And this is where basically everybody's missing it. So I'm giving the hints. I'm writing things. You need to go through experience. You need to be the risk taker. You need to live dangerously. You need to face the world. You almost need to be ready to, like, okay, if they're going to kill me, they're going to kill me. So the thing being is that this is how it is, because that's what they're doing anyhow. You got chemtrails, you got Wi-Fi, you got HARP, you got vaccines, you got pharmaceuticals, all the food is poison. Gee, are they trying to kill you? Yeah, they are. So again, here's an opportunity like nothing else, but you've got to learn to see it, and it's got to be first. Yeah, so I've went through what I've went through to get here, to be able to present this and create this. Boys didn't lay out a guideline map for me. I had to figure it all out. Everything that you're getting, I figured it out. Yeah, day and night, till it's here, till it's presented. And if I didn't do this, you wouldn't have it. You'd have Joni. You'd have the United States Corporation. You'd have the Queen. Yeah, and the Pope and the Vatican. That's what you'd have. Sound good stuff that is destroying everything. Yeah, this is how real it gets. But it's okay once you see it, because you can get through it. That's the best part. It even gets better than anything that looks good. But you really have to have the intent to stand real with it. That's the fun part. There you go, Charles.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.